Hey, what's up, everybody? Every time we do a show, after the show, I keep the camera rolling. So there's a discussion that's happened, and after the show, that is very valuable. That I figured a couple shows back that I wanted to start incorporating into the gamut of content. So this is behind the scenes after the show talk with Kasie Whitener. Dr. Kasie Whitener. Hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment of this video. Leave a comment in the comments of this video. Let me know if you got any value and what's your biggest takeaway from the behind the scenes after the show talk. After the talk. After the E2P talk.
Welcome to E2P Media. E2P Media, the hottest business talk radio show ever.
Good morning. My name is Elite Pierre. I'm your host of E2P Media Business Talk Radio. Join us live every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock a.m. where you'll hear real stories from real people with real hustle. Find us at e2pmedia.com/podcast. See you there.
That was a full hour.
That was a full hour.
That's crazy.
It went
How
fast.
that
It
went
went
by.
fast, didn't it? Yeah, it goes fast. Everybody who comes to the show, they're like, "That was an hour." Like, yeah, we just talked, and it was so cool not to pause for commercial segments. Every time I would, okay, we're going to take a quick break, and I'm gonna give a shout out to one of our partners, and I talk about like Weebly.com, where I talk about better proposals or Square, but we decided to eliminate all advertising.
You know what's interesting too is the we were talking about this yesterday with the apps. People who develop apps and they expect to monetize using advertising. So advertisers end up directing your content. They end up influencing your content because it's things that they feel like should be talked about or things that they feel like they should support. And we look at like all these sort of scandals coming down and sponsors and pulling their ads and all that. And it's really about the advertiser saying, you reflect our brand, and because you do, we expect you to have this kind of, whatever. And it ends up changing your product. So
it does.
Tia Williams, who runs Midland's Anchor, she and I have been talking about how do you create a revenue stream for a media company without advertisers, because really that's like the new challenge for all media companies.
So my mentor, and I think because I'm still recording on the camera. Last week I was so upset that I didn't capture the after the show talk. So I just want to let you know we're still recording, we're just not broadcasting.
Okay.
So this would be for special episode or special content like behind the scenes after the show clips. So my mentor said, don't monetize. You like build an audience for 3-4 years. Like you're trying to monetize too soon. And this wasn't even directly to me. This was just advice that was given, that was that I was privileged to. And it was like, you're trying to monetize too soon, and that's the problem. Like you're trying to cash in, and people know it. People know it. So don't monetize. Don't try to monetize. Just give content. Just publish content. Distribute content.
And if what you're doing is good and valuable, people will keep coming back.
Yes.
So that, like I mentioned, Alan Morales. He's one of them. One of the guys I follow on Medium. John Westerberg. I mean, these guys who are out there that are just pushing a bunch of different content.
Yeah.
And it's not blog ads. It's just blogs. And I mean, I've been blogging for 5 years and haven't ever put an ad on it. And it's not because I think that my readers would hate the ads. I think they'd be fine with them. But because I just don't feel the need for it. Like I'm kind of like, I just want to be able to say what I want to say.
Yeah. So I stripped all the ads off my page, off the podcast page. I stopped doing the ads. I'm actually running a Kickstarter campaign that I launched this weekend for the show to upgrades, microphones, more cameras. I want to do multi-angles, like a camera pointed towards you, a camera pointed towards me, and then have somebody moderating from that chair right there. That's what the chair's for. And then switch camera views. So when you're talking, the camera switches to you and it's a direct shot of you, not me and you,
Right.
and then you zoom back out just to change the just
Give
like
it
a
some
real
dynamics,
show.
yeah.
Give it some dynamics.
I could see that. How's the Kickstarter campaign going?
It's brand new. There's no backers. There's nothing. So
Okay.
I did a broadcast last night, kind of introducing it on the page, but yeah, no traction yet. And I know, like, I've never had a successful Kickstarter campaign because I've never really did a Kickstarter for something like this.
Right.
But I know, like, I get a bunch of emails. Hey, we help Kickstarters be successful, and you know, we'll email your campaign out to our 5,000 backers that we have in the database.
Right.
And I don't trust none of that. It's just because obviously they're paying to be able to send emails out to people who create campaigns on Kickstarter.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't want to pay the 50, 100, 150, $500
Right.
to not make any more, you know, the goal anyway, or not to reach backers. I don't know. So I don't know how successful Kickstarter campaigns are successful other than tell a whole bunch of people about it, and then they tell other people about it, and then they tell other people about it,
Right.
and people donate.
So there's a platform called Patreon. Are you familiar with this?
Mm-mm.
It's Patreon, Patreon.
Okay.
And it the model is kind of like artists in the feudal era and in the Middle Ages would have the Sistine Chapel, right? Like these guys, Michelangelo, they had patrons, and their patrons would sponsor them and would keep them, right? They would pay for their apartments and their clothes and all and their supplies and everything else. So Patreon is meant to give a platform for artists to put their work up and create a following that will pay for new releases.
Okay.
So it might be worth looking into. I've been kind of looking into it on the fiction writing side. I'm not sure if there's a business side of it or not. But even if you didn't use the platform Patreon, it might be worth looking into creating a pay per episode kind of model where it would be like, all right, well, here's, now I've got all these broadcasts that I put up over the course of the year or whatever, and you get to maybe 30 of them. And then you take them all off of Facebook and you're like, I archived them and I'm going to sell them for 99 cents a piece.
Okay.
And then it's like, hey, if you want to see Kasie on my show, it's 99 cents. And I go, hey, look, you guys, it's on sale. It's 99 cents.
Yeah.
And all of my people go, hey, we want to see this. And they're all going to pay 99 cents to have access to it.
Gotcha.
And then, so it creates kind of like a same kind of downloading a song or whatever. It's just getting those in small increments.
Gotcha.
But I would wait till you built up like a library of content,
Yeah.
and then put all that whole content library, like, hey, you can get 5 episodes for $4, or you can get this number or whatever, but then creating, kind of monetizing each of those things that you put together, and
Gotcha.
if people are interested. But the idea with this Patreon website is that people become your patron, and they buy in to your whatever it is you've sold, and they go, well, I'm gonna, like, if I'm gonna do short stories, I'll go, okay, well, if you buy in for $10, then I'll release 10 short stories, and you get each one obviously for $1, right?
Gotcha.
So then I have, say 300 people buy in for $10, I'm up $3,000,
Yeah.
and now I'm going to release these 10 short stories. Well, somebody who didn't pay $10 goes, well, wait a second, I want in.
Yeah.
All right, well, we've got 5 stories left. You can come in for $5, or
Gotcha.
wait, we've got 4 stories left. You can come in for $4 or whatever. But it's the idea is that you create your following, and your following all gives you money to support whatever artistic effort you're trying to build.
Got you. Same thing as crowdfunding. It's the same thing as Kickstarter.
Yeah, with the exception of it's not campaign based.
Got you.
So Kickstarter is just that short period of time in the campaign, where Patreon is buy into my club, essentially.
Gotcha.
Right, like join my club, and if it's worth $5 to you, then here's what you're going to get in return.
So my website allows me to create a membership site where I can have exclusive content for members only.
Yeah.
And at some point I intend on utilizing that, but then again I'm hesitant to monetize.
Right. There's a lot of writers groups that have done that. I think of, it's not Writers Relief. When I first went to freelance writing, there was a gal that had that firewall, right? Like, here's all the free content, and then behind the firewall, behind the paywall, was a certain amount of other content, and inside that content was community. So you could go in with all these other writers and you could talk about, your freelance journey or whatever. I didn't think, Carol Tice is her name, Carol Tice. I don't think she was giving enough, I didn't think she was giving me enough value that I was willing to pay. But enough of her followers were willing to pay to get into that rest of that content.
And I'm thinking, because again, I don't know if, I'm sure you're familiar because people have mentioned it at 1 Million Cups, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah.
He has, of course, all of his free content. Then he has a VIP club, which is free as well, but you get exclusive emails, you get exclusive VIP club video, which is private from the community.
Right.
And it's pretty awesome. It's the thing is that it gives that exclusiveness. Like I don't have to pay for it, but I feel like I'm part of a separate group, a special group, because everybody doesn't get this. Like I got a text last night.
Certain things too that are only VIP offers.
That are only VIP. I got a text last night from Gary. Ely, it's me, Gary. It just happened. I turned 42 and dropped my new sneaker. Here's the link and good luck. Thank you. So of course that's a mass text. But I subscribed to that because it said, I forget how it was, like text to this number or go to the site and put your number. I think it was go to the site, click the link, put your phone number in there, and then you become part of the text group or whatever. No, it said text us at this number. So you text that number, it's a collector, right? And then the response was just, hey, for me to do my surprises and biz dev with you, I need you to fill out this form. So I had to go to the form and basically opt in to receiving text notifications or text messages from his system.
Yeah, and then put your name on it so he can customize them for you.
Yep. So again, it's a mass blast, but it's an address book.
I keep forgetting to delete that picture. It's from the store.
But yeah, so I'm hesitant to monetize. Even when I get, look how big Gary is, and he's still not monetizing. He releases a book, he released some shoes, and that's how he collects all at one time for all the free stuff that he's giving away for a 2-3 year time frame.
Because he created the following.
Yeah.
The people who are willing to buy that stuff.
Yeah.
And two, he gets paid to go and speak at conferences and to provide value there as well. There's a guy on Twitter, his handle is Sales Lion, and he's that way too, where he started just content marketing on his website and then kind of became an expert at content marketing and what kind of content you should be putting on the web. And he gives all these workshops at conferences all over the country, and it's interesting to hear him talk about how to use content to build a following and to build up your user base or your fan base, and then whether or not those people turn into customers. He sells swimming pools.
Wow.
His business is swimming pools.
It's swimming pools.
So okay, am I going to buy a swimming pool from this guy? Probably not, because he's in Tennessee and I'm in South Carolina. But I'm loving what he's doing on the sales front and talking about that. So I am going to go to a conference that he's at. I am going to buy his book. I am going to follow him on Twitter. I will become a minion for him. And it's the minions that are really paying the bills for him. The swimming pools are part of it, right? Like obviously he's got that business, but really it's about how he sells the business.
He's selling the process, his process.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his concept. Philosophies.
And it's so basic too. Like then when you start listening to it, I'm like, seriously?
That's it.
Really?
I think that was a really good show we just did.
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah,
it
I had
was
fun.
Good stuff.
Even talking about running, man, I need to get back out there.
Me too.
I've been out for months.
I haven't ran in a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And I have so my aunt wants to do a triathlon next year.
What's that? Running, biking, and swimming?
Yeah, and the swim I have no problem with, and the running I can get in shape for. But I'm like terrified of an actual bike on the road. I'm afraid to fall. And
For real?
I don't like to ride a bike on the road. Like I don't mind spin class.
What?
But I have this irrational fear of.
So I used to ride bikes all the time as a kid. So riding a bike on the road is nothing.
Well, yeah, I'll go down when we go to the beach. I'll rent a bike
You're talking
and ride
about
around.
Speed riding.
I'm talking like with your helmet on, and, like for a race kind of. No.
You seen the videos where the lead bike falls and everybody.
The Peloton, yeah. I mean, I don't think this thing's gonna be big enough to have a Peloton, but yeah. I don't know. So she wants to talk me into it. I was like, well, let's see what I can
We'll see.
But I like to run in the cold, so I'm glad it's starting to get cooler and like.
I hate the cold.
No, this is way better. Running in the cold is great. It's
I hate
running
the
in the
cold.
heat that's just brutal.
I hate the heat too. I like comfort.
You just don't like to be outside?
No,
Outside's
I like outside.
no good.
I like outside. I just like right now. When I first came into this room, it was freezing cold, so I put the heat on 80, and I was like, because it takes a while for this to warm up and cool down. When it's hot, oh my goodness, it takes a while to cool. So you will, if we go in the office, it'll probably be toasty. We'll be like, oh, this is too hot. But out here, you know, you gotta adjust the temperature for because it's 3 vents right here.
Yeah.
But then of course this is uninsulated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. So what I want to do, of course, of course, the 3 major avenues of communication: written, video, and audio. I got the audio. I got the video. I need the written. Mm-hmm. So my wife is an excellent writer, but she got so much on her plate. I want a blog written for every episode. Basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Not a review, but
like show notes and a recap.
A recap, show notes. Yeah. Like a summary of
Okay.
the show, and then of course to listen to the show, visit the www.e2pmedia. Well, of course, then my blog is on my page. It just drives traffic to the actual blog page. I mean, the podcast page from the blog page, or to watch the video, you know, go to YouTube. Because I'm gonna take this video. I'm gonna throw that back. I'm gonna throw that background on the video that you see still recording now, and I'm gonna take, because the video content, I'm probably gonna take the podcast audio, overlay it, because it's gonna be more quality audio from this than it is from the built-in mic from the camera. So I'm going to take this audio, put it with that video. That's going to be the YouTube video.
So me and this gal up in the upstate have been trying to collaborate on a podcast forever. And all we want is the audio. We just want the two of us having a conversation like you and I did today, just like 20 minutes long on a particular topic. She's a technology expert. I'm a marketing
20 minutes
expert.
Is fast.
So we just want these little small snippet.
Yeah.
It's just long enough for you to, walk a mile. Like here's your little bit of marketing technology talk.
Gotcha.
But we're struggling with the how. Like, how do we capture the audio? She's in the upstate, I'm down here. Like, how do we get it through a phone call that it's going to be a high enough quality and turn that into something that is actually like, here's a podcast production piece. So think about like, if you think that wouldn't take you very long, if we were to record it and then you could just polish it and make it podcastable, then I will watch your show every week and write up your blog post for you.
We can do that.
And then we'll have a partnership. In which case you'll have your 300 words of content with your hyperlinks, and I'll get here I sent you a file and now it's podcastable and I can throw it up on our podcast page.
All right, good stuff, right? Hope you got some good value out of that. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I love doing this show, really getting a lot of good content, a lot of good lessons that I'm applying into my business. So my question to you is, what's your greatest takeaway? Please leave me a comment in the comments. Let me know what was your greatest takeaway from this video.